Match number 2 of the evening would see Donny Ravarro versus Adrian Arturo with Eddie Pettifer in his corner. Well, when I say in his corner, he was a bit of a distraction for Arturo himself, to be fair. Now, early on, Arturo would overpower and he'd gain the initial control, even winning a test of strength and actually pinning his opponent's shoulders to the ground for a 2 count. He then hit a huge shoulder tackle, but he'd miss a dive. And at this point, Ravarro would pick up the pace with a hip toss and a drop kick. Now, Pettifer would then distract Arturo. As I said, he seemed to prove a distraction for Arturo. And he'd say to him, do the butterfly, do the butterfly. And Arturo's like, it's not a butterfly. It's not a butterfly. Ravarro would work the arm at this point and gain another 2 count. Yeah, it's just, this one was chaotic with all 3 hit rings. Like, it was ridiculous. The crowd were on Arturo's side, though. Ravarro would pick up quite a few near falls in this one. I mean, his second rope fist drop looked really impactful. He'd go for a second one, but he'd land straight into the boot of Arturo, and then Arturo would start to unload with his educated feet. He'd hit a double underhook angel wings slam for a 2 count, and well, at this point, Pettifer would fall into the ring. He literally fell into the ring. It was quite comedic. Arturo would go for a springboard move, but he would miss it, and he would be met by a big boot, a huge big boot from Ravarro, for Ravarro to pick up the 3 count and gain the win. Now, as I say, I don't see what Pettifer was doing there. He did nothing but distract the person he was supposed to be out there supporting. Anyway, Arturo looked great. You know, fans, as I say, absolutely on his side. I think without the distraction of Pettifer, he would have picked up the victory in this one. Great wrestler, seen him first time. I'd love to see him in action again. Donny Ravarro looked fantastic as well. You know, he was powerful and he hung in there. He didn't allow the distractions of Pettifer to cause any issues for himself. And that big boot to win just looked absolutely nasty. If you get a chance to see either of these guys in action, I recommend that you do so for yourselves.